Alright, so this was going to be a DaVinci Resolve tutorial talking about a LUT pack that I had made and a way that you can dial in your colors on Resolve to get you the best looking footage. But after doing some research, I know when to take an L when it's handed to me, because Joel Famulera over at Phantom LUTs might have created the best LUT pack that you could find for S-log3 footage. But, LUTs aren't a one-size-fit-all and a one-click solution for every type of footage. There is a workflow that you need in order to get the most out of LUT packs from your favorite creators. So this has probably happened to you. You've picked up a new LUT pack for your footage on a new camera and you found that it just doesn't look quite right. And I found 5 different reasons why your footage might not look as good as some of your favorite creators in which you picked up the LUT pack from. And that's gonna be your exposure, your white balance, your contrast, saturation, and as well as dialing in your skin tones. And we're gonna be able to use the node system on DaVinci Resolve to be able to do that. Now I'm gonna make 5 nodes to correspond with the things that people usually have problems when working with LUT packs. So your exposure is going to be your first, followed by your white balance, your contrast and saturation, and then it's going to be your skin tones. And then I'm gonna leave 2 extra nodes here as well. What's gonna end up happening is you wanna put that node right at the very end. The reason being is that it actually converts your footage into a Rec 709 space. And if you make an adjustment after the fact, you don't wanna mess that up because it might not be as accurate on your monitor as to when you post it. All right, so we're gonna dive right into the DaVinci Resolve tutorial portion of this when working with Phantom LUTs. Now, keep in mind, these LUTs are going to work its best if you're actually exposing for the S-log3 properly. And I did leave a video on here on how to use SONY to get the proper exposure. Now that it's out of the way, let's start applying our LUT and working into the grade. Now we're gonna go over here to our LUT node, and once again, we are gonna leave this at the end because it's a log LUT, which means that once I click it, it's actually going to transform my log footage into something that's going to be close to a Rec 709 space, and I don't wanna screw that up. Now, right off of the bat, things look pretty good here. Now, this is a credit to this LUT pack on the Phantom LUTs, is that things look pretty good for S-log3 footage out the gate. But if I want to change things, which I noticed right off the bat is I want to change my exposure, what I can do is go to my exposure node and then I could use my offset. And I could start to bring things down if I want a darker or moodier look. Now keep in mind, you want to make sure that your shadows aren't clipping, and if you watch the version 1 of my tutorial on Resolve, you'll know why you don't want that to happen. So right there you can see that line's getting pretty flat and horizontal and information's getting crushed, so I'm just going to adjust it from there. Next, I might play a little bit with my contrast if I want to just move this stuff around. So I'm going to increase my contrast right before things start to clip out, and then I'm going to change my pivot and actually bring some of those midtones up a little bit while still keeping a really nice black point. And there we are to here. And then I might just play around with that saturation. And I'm gonna make it a little bit more, not too much, but put it up to here. And that's pretty much what I would do. Now you can go to your skin tones, go to the eyedropper, put it onto here, and you can actually start to adjust the hue and saturation of those skin tones. But then again, it does look pretty good. Now take this with a grain of salt. This is just a quick and dirty example on how you can push and pull colors on the Phantom LUTs. If you have a stylistic look, you can use them as a base like you should with all LUTs. And this is basically what I did to kind of create a look that I like. And when I press Control D, that's what it looks like with just a LUT on it. That's what it looks like with a couple adjustments. So the LUT pack is very good. It does dial in colors just right, but you do want to make some adjustments for your shooting style if you choose to do that. Now, there's one extra step that you need in order to keep a consistent workflow when working with your favorite color grading tools, and that's going to be power grades. Now, power grades is great because it's a way that you can actually mimic the workflows you did while working with different LUT packs and different color grading schemes that you could put on different projects, and you don't have to copy and paste or try to remember every single thing that you adjusted while you're dialing in your colors. And we're gonna go one step forward and we're actually gonna show you how you can save power grades and keep a consistent workflow from project to project without having to remind yourself or making a new node tree and a new structure. All right, so right here we have our node tree and all of our adjustments based on our LUT. Now you're gonna notice this is a little bit different because we're actually not using Phantom LUTs in this example. But basically what we're going to do is that we're actually going to copy over the adjustments that we made here, or at least the workflow, into a completely separate project. Now, normally you can just highlight all of these nodes, you can copy and paste to another clip if it's in the same project, but if I want to work on something that's completely different, this is how you do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, we're going to right click on this image and select grab still. Now that that's done, if you don't see it immediately, it's probably because you're not in the gallery tab. And that's where you're going to see the still that's right there. Now this holds all the information of the color grading workflow that you did over here. Now for the sake of this tutorial, because I have this saved already, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go add power grade album. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this still and I'm going to drag and drop into that power grade album. Now you're going to see that's over here. Now within the project that doesn't seem to mean a lot, but what we're going to do is we're actually going to go to a completely different project where we could actually use that power grade. So I'm going to go to File, Project Manager. All right, so now we have some clips that are in here that are clearly in a completely different project. And as you can see, the stills folder is empty because regular stills bin don't carry over from project to project. But when we go over to our power bin, that still from our first project is still there. And now we have to use right click and then we can go apply grade. And there you have it, it's right in there. And you can start to make adjustments again. Because it's different footage, you might not have the exact same look. So if I want to adjust things like my exposure to make things a little bit different, my white balance or anything like that, if I could change things, then I will. And then I could use that copy and paste method. So all I have to do is click onto that node, click, press Control C, Control V, and then that's carried over to the next node in this project. And I could do that again for here, and everything looks pretty good. Now I was going to take an L here and not create a LUT pack because I do like the Phantom LUTs quite a bit. But over time in the last couple of years, I've created some custom looks for the video footage that I do. And if you guys are interested, you guys support the channel, or you just want to have a different workflow or some different tools to work with, you can go onto my website and you can actually go and pick up my personal LUT pack. There's 4 looks and you work with them in the same way that you would in this tutorial today. So if you do want to make some adjustments from the LUT pack that's there, because we all have different footage, you can go ahead and do that and you can pick that up, and the link is in my description. That being said, leave a comment down below if you learned something or you were entertained, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.